The Story of Easter by Aileen Fisher, illustrated by Stefano Vitale. Easter is a time of rejoicing. It comes in spring, when the cold, dark days of winter are over. Birds return to sing, grass and flowers begin to make a new carpet for the earth. For Christians, Easter Sunday is the greatest holiday of the year. It is a day of joy. It celebrates the resurrection of Jesus of Nazareth, who rose from death to new life many years ago. Almost everyone knows something about the life of Jesus. As a boy, he lived in a small town of Nazareth, near the Sea of Galilee, in what is now northern Israel. When he was about 30 years old, he began teaching and preaching and healing the sick. His fame spread quickly, and soon he had 12 disciples, or followers. They went with Jesus and learned from him as he walked through the countryside, talking to the people. Crowds gathered to hear Jesus preach. Many people began to say that he was the Savior, or Messiah, they had long been waiting for. At sunrise on Sunday morning, Mary Magdalene and 2 other women went to the tomb. The big stone had been rolled away. They looked into the tomb and saw a young man dressed in a white robe. "Do not be amazed," he said to them. "Jesus is risen. He is not here." The women ran to tell the news to the disciples. They remembered then that while they were still in Galilee, Jesus had told them he would be crucified, and he had also told them, "After 3 days I will rise again." This was the 3rd day. On that first Easter morning, Jesus appeared to the disciples. He told them to go back to Galilee. He said, "Go into all of the world and preach the good news." The disciples understood that Jesus wanted them to spread the good news of his resurrection and to teach others what he had taught them. And that is how the Christian church was started. The date of Easter is not the same from year to year. Most people celebrate on the first Sunday after the first full moon in spring, but Orthodox Christians use a different date. They celebrate Easter on the Sunday following Passover. Long before the celebration of Easter began, people celebrated a spring festival. They danced and gave gifts. They rejoiced over the rebirth of life in the fields and in the woodlands. After the Christian religion spread to many lands, the joy of Jesus' resurrection became mingled with the joy of spring. Both celebrations stood for new life. Both stood for new hope in the hearts of people. And so it is not strange that many of the customs of the old spring festival became part of our celebration of Easter. The Easter egg is a good example of a custom that began many thousands of years ago. For ancient peoples, the symbol of new life was an egg. When the shell broke, new life came into the world. In India and Egypt, people thought that the world began as one huge egg. This world egg split in 2. The upper half became the heavens, and the lower half became the earth. For countless years, it was a custom to give eggs as gifts during the spring festival. The ancient Persians and Chinese did it. So did the people of Northern Europe during the Middle Ages. The egg is also one of the ritual foods eaten at Passover. In some countries of Europe, decorating eggs has been great art for many years. In Poland and the Ukraine, girls and women paint fancy designs on eggs before they are dyed. They paint the designs with beeswax and try to make one each a little different. Flowers stand for love, deer for good health, roosters for wishes that will come true, and the sun for good luck. After the design is finished, the women dip the eggs in bright dyes. When the dye has dried, the women melt away the wax. The design under the beeswax stays the natural color of the egg. In Russia, artists make beautiful eggs of crystal and gold. Sometimes they are decorated with jewels for the Tsar and his family. One goldsmith, Karl Peter Fabergé, won worldwide fame for the jeweled Easter eggs he made. In Greece and Turkey, Jews invented a way to dye eggs using onion skins, and this tradition has spread to Latvia and other Eastern European countries. On Easter Day, there are often egg hunts. Children scurry around to see who can find the most eggs, which have been hidden in the house or sometimes in the garden. The eggs are real eggs. Sometimes they are brightly colored candy ones or chocolate eggs wrapped in foil. The Easter Bunny is supposed to bring the Easter eggs and hide them. He is very shy. He comes at night and no one ever sees him. No one knows how the story of Easter Bunny began, but the rabbit is an old symbol of the spring festival. It stands for the abundance of new life. Many of the Easter customs that have come down to us from long ago have changed along the way. In the days of the early Christians, Easter was the time when new members of the church were baptized. Afterward, they put on new white clothes as a sign of their joy. Now, people like to wear something new on Easter Sunday. In Europe, many people carry the old custom of taking a walk after Easter church. They walk through the fields to see the flowers and listen to the birds. In New York City, this old Easter custom has turned into a fashion parade on Fifth Avenue. On Easter Sunday, millions of Christians attend outdoor services, often on a hill where they can see the sun rise. There is an old saying that the sun dances as it rises on Easter morning. Inside the churches, Easter lilies bloom in front of the altars. People lift up their voices and sing. Not all Christian churches celebrate the Easter season in the same way, but the message of Easter is always the same. It is the joy and the celebration of the belief that God's love is stronger than